Hi, I'm Jessica, and welcome to the 5-day Ma Yoga Prenatal Teacher Training. So one of the myths that I hope to dispel with this training is that prenatal yoga is gentle yoga. It is not, and it should not be. Now, I love me a good yin yoga session, Vini yoga, and all that gentle restorative. And so do pregnant people. No question about it. It is a wonderful thing to incorporate. But we need our strength during this time, maybe more than ever in our life. So, one obvious reason is we are going to be carrying around a bowling ball weight in our belly, inside and out. But there are other reasons that we will go into. And we're going to talk about how to cue strength and muscular energy, engagement of our muscles, how to keep muscles strong and stable and toned throughout the pregnancy journey. But first, just to step back, we are in session 2. We are using our 5 natural elements as a guide to go through this co-creative process to remind us of the different elements of who we are and really what yoga says all of nature is made up of. So we started with our foundational principle of ma, mothering ourselves, slowing down, listening inward. This is the choice that pregnant people make when they come to yoga class to say, you know, maybe I've never been motivated before to really take care of myself, but there's this being in here, and I'm starting to get that taking care of me means taking care of baby. This is such a gift of pregnancy because we can learn some really powerful and yet short and sweet practices that can really help us through postpartum and for the rest of our life. After that, we talked in session 1 about space. And since we are infusing space with, and all of our principles with this nurturing energy, we're going to make space for baby, especially in the back of the body, with our breath, and even in our mind and our heart. And these principles are not like, you know, one and done, then you go to the next one. They build on each other. So if you were to only give a pregnant student one thing, it might be just a warm smile and how are you feeling, right? Just that nurturing quality. If you're going to give them 2 things, it's giving them a safe space to turn in and listen to their own inner wisdom and to guide them to their own, what we call inner GPS. So it's not up to us as yoga teachers to tell them what kind of birth is the right way to do it or what might be best for them. We can, though, help them to do what we call educate and meditate. So go out, take classes, meet with doulas, like really understand, follow the 10 questions for your OB or midwife that's on the mayoga.com website. Just do a search in the blog for 10 questions. Go out there. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to learn from people who have done this before. Learning about negative outcomes is not going to create them. It's just going to help you prepare. And then meditate. Once you have some information, turn in and see what harmonizes for you. So all of that is review and also bringing that into this moment. Now we're going to talk about Earth. So what are the qualities of Earth? It's the most stable thing we know of. It is moving, but doesn't feel like it. And it is extremely important for pregnant people because of the hormones that are flowing through the body, progesterone and relaxing. Why do we have these hormones? The front of the pelvis is actually not like glued together. It is a joint. It moves, thankfully, because baby is going to come out And we want baby's head to be able to fit out there. So these hormones relax this joint to open it up. So by the time baby's ready, baby's head can fit up. That said, it also works on every joint of the body. We've got your elbows, we've got your wrists, we've got your knees, ankles. I had a pregnant student who just couldn't even sleep because her ankles hurt so much. Every joint is vulnerable and weak during this time. So in a regular class, you might put everybody into all fours and do some fun cat cows. In a prenatal class, you might have a third of the people who just have pain just putting that much pressure on their wrists. That's why this principle, which is called create a strong container for baby, is just so key. The moment we start moving, we're going to be using this principle to stabilize the body. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, physically, we are going to engage the muscles. So if you take your arms above your head and just hold them floppy, okay, fine. You're like doing a little stretch, I guess. But if you make them straight and strong and you're really hugging your muscles in, you're even hugging your arms in toward the center and you're plugging the arm bones in. So these are all practices that we learn over the longer training, but I'm just introducing you to using your muscles. When it comes to the feet, you spread your toes, you hug your legs toward each other. So all of these actions create stability in the body. We're drawing in yoga, what we think of as a steadiness in the center. It's like energetically, it's like the eye of the storm. Everything's changing around us. Stimulation is coming at us, and yet we can move into this place that never changes, that is beyond space and time, that is our soul in this body. And yet even our soul can learn and develop. That's why I believe we're here. And yet, like the earth, it's slow and it is one of the steadiest things we know of. Think about a picture of yourself as a toddler. And you see this picture and everything has changed. Every facial feature, every part of your body, your hair texture and color. And yet you recognize something. You know that that is you. That's this great representation of what is unchanging. In yoga, it's called Shiva. So Shiva is the essence of all things, and it takes the multitudinous forms of the universe. And that action, that power to change form is Shakti. And Shiva is the masculine energy, which is steady. And kind of, if we're going to kind of translate it into our culture, and this is not archetypes or gender or sexuality or anything, we all have both. But Shiva is logical and linear and steady and certain, right? And confident and putting itself out there. And this is a very important part of life and part of each of us, right? We got to go through our task list, especially as a new mom. We got to look around a room and see, is this safe for baby and all that. So that's the masculine part that's making things happen. It's very self-reliant and independent. On the other side, Shakti, which is this power of Shiva to take form as us. In other words, everything we know of in the universe is an expression, right, of Shakti, kind of taking a form. Shakti is the feminine. Shakti is the goddess, and she moves in spirals rather than a straight line. This is the part of us that feels our way forward, like almost like someone turned the lights out. That is sensing and intuiting. That is listening more than having to, say our truth. Taking in, it's more receptive. It's more allowing. It's also the part that recognizes we're better together. So yes, we have an independent part, that part that says, I got this, but we really want to invite our mamas to at least begin with recognizing that we don't become ourselves by ourselves, and that if we believe at all that the universe has gifts for us, guidance for us, wisdom for us, if there is any kind of benevolence out there that we believe in, how are we going to get it? It's not going to come from the ceiling, right? Sometimes it can come from closing our eyes and listening in, but so often it comes from a connection to others. The best things come from our connection to others. So it really does take a village. And so all of that is to say that when we move into that essence, we can create a strong boundary. You know, this principle is a little bit more on the Shiva side, on the masculine side, on the I got this side, right? We've already created that spaciousness, that openness, that connection to others. Now we're moving into, all right, I got to birth this baby, no matter what kind of support I have around me. I got to learn how to find that strength, even the mental strength. We in class will do something called beyond endurance, where our brain says, I got to stop this, but we just encourage our students to go just a little bit longer, just to recognize that our brain doesn't know. There's something deeper within us that is so much more expansive than what our limited thoughts can come up with. So that is the earth element, the second of our 5 sacred steps. And I think now we're just going to play a little bit with how to cue these things and how it feels in the body. So if you want to take a seat, again, we never skip to one of these. These are guides through any pose, any practice, any day. So just starting with finding your breath and settling in. One way that you can step into nurturing energy is just to imagine a little one that you love and how you would speak to them. So maybe it's a toddler learning to walk and they fall, right? So what do you say? It's okay. It's all part of the process. You are doing great and you have everything you need. I promise you will not be crawling in college. So when you're ready, we'll just get up and try again, right? So these are the kinds of things that you say, the encouraging attitude that you would have when you're, mothering a little one that you love. Think about how you talk to yourself and how different that is. And even if it feels dumb, can you start by saying 3 things to yourself that have that same encouraging, supportive attitude? Can you turn inside and look for the beauty and the goodness rather than what you need to fix or what you wish wasn't there? And can you acknowledge it? And can you celebrate it? Just say the words, because your subconscious hears you. Even if your conscious limited mind goes, this is dumb, it really will change the story that's being told by your left brain. It really will open you up to new possibilities. So once we've created some kind of space for our mamas, you can bring your palms together, set an intention. Just choose any quality that you want to experience and offer. When we're pregnant, we're always choosing our experience for us and our baby as well. Who knows what they feel, what they sense, but I can only imagine that at least de-stressing, grounding ourselves, kind of coming home to ourselves affects their nervous system as well. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it go through your mouth. So release your hands and let's start in Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. And since we're focusing today on earth, on creating a strong container, let's create strength in the legs starting from the feet by spreading the toes apart. Simple as that, we start to engage the lower legs. And then just take your hands under your knees and lift them up a little bit. And then just do some nice circles around. So I imagine this would feel really nice for baby, and just exhaling around and back to make space in the back of the body for baby. Remember, we can't make baby go into any particular position, but we can, and you can switch directions, make space. So if baby wants to go there, baby can. So just making some nice circles around, releasing tension in those tight hip flexors, coming back to center. And now go ahead and take your thumbs and interlace them above your head. On an exhale, relax your shoulder blades down your back, and then start to stretch up. I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see my fingers. They're pulling apart. And as you pull your hands apart, you're hugging your inner elbows toward each other. Feel how earthy, stable, and strong your arms are. Your shoulder blades are hugging each other. You're even spreading your toes and energizing the muscles of your legs. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, take your wrist back just a little bit more and maybe look up if that's okay. And release your hands. So this is especially important for the pregnant mamas before we do any weight-bearing poses. So you've kind of instructed them on how to strengthen their arms. So let's come around. And if you have a block, we're going to place that between your inner thighs. And what this does is it automatically kind of wakes up the muscles of the inner thighs, the adductors, so that you can start to hug in towards your steady center. Hips, as pregnancy kind of goes through into the second trimester, late second trimester, definitely third, the hips really get very destabilized and can cause a lot of discomfort. Spread your toes, so tuck your toes under and squeeze the block. And now we'll come back to our cat neutral. So inhale, look forward, take the block back. And then on your exhale, tuck your tail, tuck your chin, round your back. As you inhale, keep a little lift in your belly so there's space in the back body. And instead, squeeze the block, move it back, looking forward. And exhale, round it out, squeezing into the block. Coming back to center, walk your tabletop back so you have enough room to stretch your arms forward. So my hips aren't back on my heels. My thighs are straight up and down. This is called half downward dog. As you lift your armpits, also lift baby, and then let your heart and head go down. You can feel the strength in your upper back. I want you to really lift your armpits and squeeze those shoulder blades. And then tuck your toes, squeeze the block, and move your hips way back. So creating even more space for baby. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, soften the heart down. And come on up. One last aspect about this principle is that when we do hug into our steady center, we create energetic boundaries. And this is really important for prenatal yoga and the journey of motherhood, because we get so much input from people about how we should do things and what choices we should make. But ultimately, I feel that a successful birth, obviously everybody was healthy, but mama felt supported and held and nurtured. So she had the right kind of support. And she also felt that she was able to make decisions that felt right for her and her family, that she was participating in all the decisions fully. The choices that we make along the way might seem small, might seem like, oh, I don't really like my doctor, but it's too much of a pain. They really become the big things. And if our heart is telling us, I really think I should maybe switch, or maybe have my baby at home, or maybe have it in the hospital instead, or whatever it is, we don't necessarily need constant input. We want to take it, and then we want to turn in and meditate. And then once we know we're doing what's right for us and our family, we can stay strong in that. So I hope this gave you good information and useful tips for supporting, guiding, and inspiring your pregnant students. And I look forward to seeing you in session 3, where we will talk about water and playfulness and doing a divine dance. So thank you, and please let me know how it goes.